Anybody in America right now working a full-time job, I'm talking 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, if you've got one of those jobs, you are working about 10 times harder than Joe Biden is working right now. Joe took the day off, another day off, with the most important thing that we know of in the universe happening in about 40 or so days. Joe is skating for some reason. All kinds of questions. People are wondering what is happening to him. What's the status of his health? You compare that to Donald Trump. I mean, you saw it yesterday. 2 events in Ohio. He's got another one somewhere tonight. He's a machine. The energy, the stamina, the endurance we are seeing from Donald Trump is astounding. If politics were a sport, this guy would be an Olympian. We've never seen anything like this. The fake news never, ever gives him credit. Oh, I do want to point out something that has not happened before, as far as I know. A camera actually turned to show the full scope of a Donald Trump crowd at a Donald Trump rally at Donald Trump's insistence. Check this out.
The cameras, are you turning around? These guys are bad people, I swear. They never turn the cameras around, ever. Turn them around. Turn them around. They never turn. Look at them. They're just like a bunch of stiffs. Real stiffs. Why don't you turn the cameras around for once? You know, you look back there, you can't see it. There's got to be. Feels like Madison Square Garden on the ground, except we have more people.
Well, the RSB network, whoever they are, and they're great. They turned the camera around. And by the way, I did not know that they had crowds even behind the stand where the media are. That is pretty impressive. And you see the enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Joe is rarely going to pretty much empty rooms, only under the most controlled circumstances. I believe they're using COVID as an excuse. They put out a statement today saying Joe will not be seen in public. This is from the campaign. They put these out to all the reporters and the news institutions. Took some people by surprise, a lot of people actually. I mean, what is going on? And you know what, by the way, his not being out there every single day, really pushing it, he's violating one of his campaign promises.
I will not rest, and I mean this from the bottom. I will not rest till they're able to sue the gun manufacturers and if we had an assault weapon.
I will not rest until I take a rest. It's a kind of phony thing that politicians say all the time. Donald Trump, when he said it, he meant it. I mean, never seen anything quite like this. It's kind of a mystery about what Joe's doing, and also who's he doing it with. You'll remember back in 2016, all the backstories about the Donald Trump campaign, from Paul Manafort to Steve Bannon, Hope Hicks, Kellyanne Conway, all the strife, all the drama. It was overdone by the media, but there were a million stories like that, and we got to know these players. Do you know any of the names associated with Joe Biden other than Kamala Harris? Not really. I think a couple of things. They're keeping that a secret on purpose, and not even the media know. And to the extent the media do know, they are protecting Joe. They don't want to go there. Again, they think they were too hard on Hillary, and they're making up for it this time by being too nice to Joe Biden. All right, we do have this, though. We don't know where Joe is, but the president is pretty sure he knows where Hunter is.
Where's Hunter? Where is Hunter? You know where Hunter is? He's probably on the Riviera having a very good time.
Could be. You never know. He did make a lot of money. Hunter Biden did. You know, you don't hear about Hunter as much as you used to. And, of course, the media never bring him up. You know where you'll hear about him? At the debate next week. The president said so over the weekend. All right, that brings us to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. About a third of the nation still in mourning. All right, this is all over the top. And that song, by the way, it actually has a nice melody, but if you start listening to the words, it's like a socialist anthem, and it's kind of creepy. So why are they making such a big deal about RBG? Okay, she was pro-abortion, and liberals like that, but I think there's something else going on here. I mean, she became kind of a thing, a meme over the past couple of years. Notorious RBG, and they would, deck her out like that, right? There were books, there were movies. This kind of thing would be shown on your cell phones. I mean, this is really her lifting weights, documentaries. And what was it about her? Why did she take off over the past couple of years? Was it just her rulings? Because she's been on that court for a long time. I figured it out. Maybe you already know the answer, but I had to review it. Take a look. Here's the answer.
Donald Trump intensifying his battle with Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Trump now calling on Ginsburg to step down, tweeting early this morning that Justice Ginsburg embarrassed all by making very dumb political statements about me. Her mind is shot. Resign. In an interview with CNN, Justice Ginsburg blasted Trump as a faker who really has an ego.
There's the answer, okay? She didn't like Donald Trump. By the way that story was posed, it sounded like Trump took the first shot. That's not how it happened. Ruth Bader Ginsburg did, and she said more than a faker and really has an ego. She said things like, I can't imagine what this place would be. I can't imagine what the country would be with Donald Trump as our president. She said this kind of stuff on the record to the New York Times in 2016 during the election. They talked about moving to New Zealand if Donald Trump wins. It's not the kind of thing you're supposed to say as a sitting Supreme Court justice. Again, though, that's why the left likes her so much. Supreme Court, it's a great job. They never want to leave it. You either retire very, very late in life or you die in office. Nobody ever gets fired. But you know who can get fired? White House staffers, especially when they want to make a splash with the left-wing media. We had an example of that. Let's see. Her name is Olivia Troy. She was a mid-level national security staffer, worked on the staff of Mike Pence, by the way, and she wanted to go out in her version of a blaze of glory and hooked up with those anti-Trump Republicans, and there are a few of them out there, and she left just a few weeks ago. They put this together.
Towards the middle of February, we knew it wasn't a matter of if COVID would become a big pandemic here in the United States. It was a matter of when. But the president didn't want to hear that because his biggest concern was that we were in an election year and how is this going to affect what he considered to be his record of success. When we were in a task force meeting, the president said maybe this COVID thing is a good thing. I don't like shaking hands with people. I don't have to shake hands with these disgusting people. Those disgusting people are the same people that he claims to care about. These are the people still going to his rallies today who have complete faith in who he is.
So right here in New York, from what I know she's lying, especially about the handshake stuff. You know, Donald Trump has been against handshaking for decades. He actually wrote about it in a book 12 years ago. And the whole part about being good, COVID somehow being good, believe it or not, that actually came from Fauci at one point, who was telling people that with all of the social distancing and the hand washing, we're going to make progress against other diseases that are flowing around. That was actually being discussed. I don't believe what they're saying about Donald Trump's comments about his supporters. Absolutely false. I know it in my heart, know it in my gut. That's what they try to do, though. Oh, one other thing, she hesitated at one point. I think it was a tell. Look, I know this is inside baseball, but this kind of stuff really bothers me. I was so pleased, though, that the White House took this head on and they sent out her boss. This is General Keith Kellogg, retired, Mike Pence's national security advisor, setting the record straight about Olivia Troy.
I fired her. The reason I fired her was her performance had started to drop after 6 months working on the task force as a backbencher. She was responsible for coordinating meetings, bringing people together, and when the performance level dropped off, I went to the Vice President of the United States and recommended she leave. I'm the one that escorted her off the compound.
Understood, General Kellogg, but Olivia is still desperately trying to say, oh, no, I was telling the truth. And as evidence, she showed people this, one of those challenge coins. Do we have a picture of it? She said she got it from General Kellogg on her way out the door, as if this is valuable. Look, I was in the military for 22 years. This is as valuable as giving somebody a coffee mug when you have 10,000 coffee mugs to give out. You give them to strangers. You give them to all kinds of people. And after a point, I got a shoebox full of these things. I have no idea where that shoebox is. It means not too much. One more thing on this. Again, inside baseball, maybe, but indicative of a lot more. So this press conference that you just saw a portion of was taken live by a lot of the cable networks. But look at what Fox News did just when it was getting interesting. Check it out.
What she has said, I have never heard. That's never happened. And I've been through every single meeting of the task force, been with the president and the vice president through every meeting. What bothers me about what Olivia said.
This is General Kellogg, and he is talking about Olivia Troy, an aide to Vice President Mike Pence. And as he now speaks at the White House press briefing, we're going to pull back because news has been made, as you know, from watching Kayleigh McEnany speak. We'll keep our eye on this briefing and monitor it.
Isn't that a little odd? And by the way, they just had that situation last week where they shut down Newt Gingrich when he brought up George Soros. I mean, again, it's kind of interesting. A general coming out and saying, yeah, I fired that person. Nope, they moved right on. What is going on over there? All right, folks, last night I showed you this person who totally freaked out, overreacted to the news that I guess her hero, RBG, had died.
Holy shit, you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Could this year get any worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021!
I alluded to this briefly last night, but what I think she could use more of, and we could all use more of, communication with God. I really do. You know, so much of what she represents and what she's going through is secular. And I think Franklin Graham is right when he says this might be the answer.
Socialism is anti-God. And this is what we're facing in this country. And I think the only hope for America is God. It's not the Republicans or Democrats, it's God.
And if you want to talk to God, you can through prayer. And by the way, they're having a major prayer event at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. this weekend.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.